Hi, this session is all about the thoracic area of the spine. So if you imagine the top part of our spine, right into our mid-back from our shoulders is around the thoracic spinal area. So we're going to be looking at some stretches and also some mobility exercises for this area. It's notorious for getting really tight, and it's also notorious for being one of the key factors in limiting things like overhead mobility and also impacting our posture as well. So a really good one to keep on top of and keep nice and mobile. All right, so the first one we're going to do, I've got a roller here. You might have one, you might not have one. If you don't have one, you can use a towel and you can roll it up really, really tight and make it into a nice circle. Otherwise, if you've got a ball, it might also work. So something that you're able to prop underneath your back up on the top. So we're going to be putting it underneath where our shoulder blades are onto the mat. So you can see here, I'm going to be slowly lowering my body onto it, onto my shoulder blades, adjusting the roller. If you don't have anything that you can use, just bypass this exercise. We'll be moving on fairly shortly. And with this, I'm going to try and keep my lower body as stable as possible, but I'm going to slowly take my body and my shoulders down towards the floor and let my head just relax a little bit. It's really, really easy to keep loads of tension in your head and your neck, but if you can, and if it's comfortable to, then you can just drop your head towards the mat. You can just roll back and forth just a little bit. That might not be too comfortable, but really we want our bottom onto the mat. To make this a little bit more challenging, you take your hands up and then over onto the mat in front of you or behind you, placing your hands on the floor. Otherwise, you can have them on your tummy, on your chest, on your hips. And then just to add a little bit more to this, I might walk my left foot into the center of the mat and then just bring my right foot above my left knee, adjust myself slightly, and then just move, keeping on breathing, pulsing from left to right, nice and slowly. I'm just going to do this for about 30 seconds. Keep breathing. It might be quite hard. It might be restricting how you breathe. If it's too much, just come out of it. Play around with those hands. You might want to take those hands over the top. Might want to drop those shoulders down towards the mat. Just for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Switching over legs if you've done that, if you've gone up. So you might need to sort of lift your bottom up to get into position. If it's really uncomfortable here, don't do this. Just stay in that position, just moving left to right. You might also want to sort of change the position of the roller on your back. Just trying to get a little bit of mobility there, a bit of a stretch off. Again, just for another about 20 seconds. Have your hands where they feel most comfortable. Challenges that back position a little bit less if you bring them into your body. But it's really what you can manage at this time. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly releasing that left leg from the top of the right knee and adjusting yourself. You may just wish to roll off or bring your head up and then just roll down off the roller. You might be quite tight in that area. So from there, what we're going to do is we're going to go over onto our all fours position. So now we've got a little bit of movement in that top area. We've stretched out. We're going to start to now mobilise that area. So into all fours, really splaying those fingers on the mat, wrists below the elbows, below the shoulders, knees below the hips, pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. We're going to come into a few cat-cows. So as we inhale, we're going to come into that cow position. From here, we want you to just really try and turn your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Take your head and your gaze up towards the ceiling as well, creating a nice arch in the back. Go as deep as you feel comfortable to. Don't push it on your first one. As you exhale, starting to tuck the chin, round the tailbone, really round the top of the back. You might want to pulse back and forth here for 3, for 2, for 1, slowly transitioning back again into your nice cow position. Lifting that tailbone, lifting that head, pushing away from the mat, trying to stay nice and active here. And again, you can just move that bottom, so wag that tail just a little bit. For 3, for 2, for 1. Finding this sort of central position, slowly transitioning back into cat position, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone, squeezing the pelvic floor, pushing away from the mat. And again, you can rock back and forth here if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, just hold that position for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly transitioning all the way through once again into that nice cow position, taking that head up, pushing away from the mat, really sticking that tailbone up, gripping those glutes, pushing your feet into the top of the mat. Again, you can just waggle that tail if that's comfortable. Otherwise, you can hold that position for 3, for 2, for 1. Last time, pushing into rounding the back. Cat position, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. We're really now trying to get the flexion on sort of the mid part of the spine all the way down to the lumbar. It is much less mobile and there's a reason for that, but we're just trying to limber it up just a little bit for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly coming back into that nice neutral position, the tabletop position. From here, we're just going to bring our left hand back a little bit, drop our bottom towards our heels and take our right hand underneath our left armpit and really reach through. So you can see I'm walking my right hand out to the side and I'm just going to try and get that stretch all the way down the back here. And from here, I'm just going to move in little circles if I can. Keep breathing. If you'd rather turn your palm up towards the ceiling, do that. Really trying to get that twist in the back. For 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly coming up into a nice all fours position. Again, adopting that nice position, maybe walking those hands out to a tabletop and then resetting for the other side. So dropping your right hand back a little bit, dropping your bottom back towards your heels, taking your left hand underneath that right armpit. And again, just play around with your hand. We really want to create a nice stretch across the top of the back. And again, once you've got down and you're comfortable, maybe do some microcircles around that shoulder area. Really feeling it around the shoulder blade, the mid back. You might be feeling it in the hip area if you're tight there. Keep breathing. For 3, for 2, for 1. Good. Slowly coming back to that nice all four position. Pushing away from the mat. Getting your knees hip width apart. Pushing the tops of your feet away from the mat too. Tucking those toes and walking those hands back. If you can, pushing onto your heels and then slowly standing up. If you can't do that, or that just seems a little bit far-fetched for you at the moment, don't worry, just get into a nice standing position. We're just coming on to a last set of exercises. So I'm against the wall, and that's really a really key part of this. You can do it without being against the wall, but sometimes you don't get the same sort of leverage or the same sort of angles. So I'm bending the knee closest to the wall. So I'm going into a lunge position, knee closest to the wall. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist my torso around towards the wall. So my left hand is on my knee. My right hand is going to sweep all the way around the wall, palm facing towards the wall. So I'm going to go back and forth. I'm about half a foot away from the wall. If you're finding this really easy, just go right into the wall. Keep the side of your body onto the wall. And it's a little bit harder. Take your gaze around with that hand. Really reaching through. One last time. Keep breathing. From here, we're going to switch legs now. So I'm going to have my left leg out. I'm going to have my right hand against the wall, my palm facing towards you or towards the front of the room. I'm going to be at 90 degrees, so just check your angle. I'm going to take my left hand now, place it on top of my right hand, and then slowly open up, and then try and plant my left hand on the wall behind me, keeping my legs and my lower body in place. 3, for 2, for 1, coming back with control. Being nice and active in this left arm, feeling it pull across the back. I'm going to do 2 more. Coming back. Last one. Nice and slow. Good. Really flattening those shoulder blades against the mat, taking your gaze round with that left hand if that's possible. Good. Coming out of that position, switching sides. So I'm going to have my left leg close to the wall initially. Tucking the back toes or relaxing them if you'd like to. If that's more comfortable, that's fine. Taking my right hand across my left thigh. Coming into the wall as much as I feel comfortable. Palm on the wall, starting at 90 degrees. Sweeping all the way around. Pushing my chest into the wall. So that's 3. 2. Keep breathing. 1. Taking the hand down with control, switching legs. Taking that left hand, palm facing towards the side of the room, not on the wall, 90 degrees arms. Bring your right hand to meet your left hand. Make sure you're sat up right here. And then slowly taking that right hand around to the back of the wall. Just noticing what the lower part of your body is doing. You might find that on one side you can't get as far, that's fine. Just be mindful of it and just notice where it is. Taking it back nice and slowly. 3. 'Watching that hand if you can. For 2. Last one, nice and slow. For 1. Good. Releasing those hands. Untucking those legs. Coming to the centre of the mat. Just rolling out those shoulders. Maybe just moving one up and then the other. Doing a couple of little twists. Because we put that sort of thoracic spinal area in some tricky positions. Rolling the shoulders, and thank you so much. Hopefully that's loosened up your upper back. You're sat at a desk all day or in a position where you're a bit hunched over for long periods throughout the week, and it's really worth doing some mobility exercises like that, even if it's just lying on the roller for a bit of time. I hope you enjoyed that session and hope to see you in my next session. Thanks, bye.